What's up, guys? We got some good news and we got some bad news. We're gonna keep this one pretty informal, pretty casual. We're gonna start with the bad news. The bad news is all of that stuff right there.
So these FGRT 231 Öhlins OEM forks on this Bayliss, I had hoped to reuse as much as possible. So I took them to Motor Garage, we stripped them down in the hope that I could rebuild a complete set with all the extra parts that I built. But that doesn't look feasible.
Instead, we're forced to rethink our plan. And the good news is we've got boxes and boxes and boxes of more parts, and we may have solved most of our ignition issue, but that's yet to be seen, hopefully later in this episode. So first up, let's talk about the suspension. So this is all the gear that came off the bike. You can see the lower triples are actually not quite perfect. There's a fair bit of damage to them. This outer tube just here is probably salvageable if it can be heated and straightened, but there's really not much else other than sort of the fork caps sitting here. So they're going to be worth a little bit of money, but unfortunately, I've already gone out and bought all of these new parts. So I've bought these external upper fork tubes. I've bought these, which are the FGRT 231 complete cartridge kits. So they weren't cheap. So I've got all of this gear and I need to decide what I'm going to do with it. And I think the best option we've got at the moment is to sell it all and start again. So let's run through some of these things. I've got the cartridges. I'm going to put them on eBay for around $1,600. I've got the extra fork caps. So these are perfect condition. Plus there's a couple of springs and some other bits which were still straight. I'm going to put that for $275. I'm going to put this, which can be straightened, this outer leg, for $150. Nothing with those pieces there, they're broken. I'm going to put these two lowers with the bent arms. I still think they can be fixed, they can be heated and straightened. I'll put them up for around about maybe $300. And then I'll put those replacement arms just there, those replacement outers for probably $250. So all up, around about $3,000. And there's a few options for forks on eBay, $1,700, $2,200. As soon as I've sold some of these parts, I'll be able to go out and get myself a new set of forks. There may be even a set in Melbourne waiting for me, fingers crossed. However, today, more boxes, more goodies, thanks to our sponsors. Let's get into it. So first up, Not Spider, CNC Racing. And these are secondhand. I got these off eBay. Another one of my awesome eBay finds, 170 pounds or 175 pounds, something like that. It's around about 370 Australian dollars. And these are gonna look pretty good as soon as I've given them a bit of a cleanup. They just need maybe some black felt pen, but either way, CNC Racing for under 400 bucks. So we're gonna put these on next. Not bad, hey? Look at that. I've just got to adjust everything now, so I push these pegs back, bring this lever up as well, tighten up and double check all these bolts, probably shorten that a little bit and bring this up, and then we're away laughing. This side's not quite so easy. I'm gonna have to space this whole thing out because it's hitting my guard just here, and I'm gonna have to move my guard around. And the other problem is I had to take my heel guard off, my carbon heel guard, because it gets in the way. So one of two things. I can either take this off completely, the exhaust guard, or maybe lower it down, move it around, and then see if I can get my heel guards back on. But I think they're still gonna hit this upper carbon piece just here. So again, pitfalls of trying to make parts match, which don't necessarily match, but I think I can do it. I think I can just put a couple of spaces here and make that work. Okay, we're sorted. I just gotta get one more bolt for here, but we're just gonna fix the rear brake setup. I've got clearance just here. I've got clearance just here. Good to go. So with aftermarket fairings, you want to be using one of these. This is a headlight block off. They're about 200 bucks. I picked this up off Facebook. Someone has bought a track fairing, a Ducati OEM track fairing. It comes with these front and rear light block offs. You've just got to swap out some rubbers. So make sure you keep your rubbers off all your builds. And then it should just plug straight in. We've just connected, obviously, the ear duct with 2 screws at the back. And then it just goes up and on. That simple. 2 nuts there and there, holds it in place, and then the other one is where the front fairing pushes in and holds it in place just here. So I've just popped that front fairing back on, and now it actually fits perfectly, and look at that. Black, so black you wouldn't even tell where these lights are supposed to be. Way, way better, looks much, much better for a track build. So 2 more jobs done, rear sets and the front light replacement thingy. Something I haven't mentioned, and something I just found out, is this bike has only done 631 kilometers. That's not much. What's that, like 350, 400 miles since it was brand new, and then it was crashed. So 631 Ks is nothing. And that kind of explains why the tires looked like they were brand new. When we plugged it in to get the codes for cutting the keys, we looked at the odometer, and that's what it told us. So next up, we're going to move on to some gear that's come from one of our sponsors, Motomia. Let's take a look. We've got a heap of stuff here. We've got a CNC Racing rear sprocket drive in beautiful red. Very, very nice. I've already opened these, but these are matching wheel nuts. We've got some black and red colored nuts to go on the sprocket flange itself. Just in here, I've got JT sprockets. This is a sprocket carrier, and this is going to sit in behind this here, so it's going to look very, very cool, black on red. And then a super, super lightweight actual rear sprocket, 43 teeth, 520 P rear sprocket. So that's in there. And then in this box, we have something else. We have a brand new set of discs, Brembo discs. Picked these up off Motomia, and these have come off another one of his builds, which got an automatic upgrade to T-drives. So since we picked these up at a good price, we're gonna use them. Brand spanking new, never been actually used. So that's part of the brake upgrade. Even though they're stock, we're gonna use these until we probably upgrade to something like T-drives. But we'll see how we go for stopping power. So first up, I just wanna get this done. Even though I can't put it on the bike, I'm just gonna give it a good clean, give it a good degrease down this whole wheel, and then we're gonna put these on and at least get this front wheel ready to go. Now it's actually the hard part. I'm gonna try and take this bike off the stand, but not drop it. So, easier said than done. Might take two people. Okay, breaking out the big guns. So this is a pretty heavy piece of kit because this whole sprocket is one massive big piece along with the cush drives and then a hub on top. So I want to weigh these and get a feel for how much weight we're losing. Okay, so 2.18 kilo, we're working in kilos here, guys. So just remember that number and then we're going to weigh the new stuff as well. But next what I've got to do is undo these bolts, take the cush hubs out, swap the cush hubs over into the new piece and go from there. .528. That's 700 grams lighter than OEM. Okay, let's go. Let's just mock this up. I haven't got the correct nuts on here. I'm gonna go with red nuts. They'll look way better. And I've just got it sort of loosely sitting on there. Not in its final state. You can see there's still a tiny little gap just there. But let's see how it looks. Oh yeah, now that looks a heck of a lot better, doesn't it? Look at that. Red on black. Wicked. It's gonna look really cool with a nice new chain as well. I don't know what color chain, probably gold to be honest. Something else I just quickly thought of is these nuts. So I'm gonna replace the wheel nuts. It'd be good to know what the difference is in weight. Like this feels heavy. This feels super heavy. 114 grams. 43 grams. So two of them is still only 2/3 of the weight of one of these nuts. That's nuts. So I've just got to package this all up now. Two rear wheel nuts, super heavy. An original drive, an original sprocket, probably another $120. I think I've sold one of these last week actually for $125, so every dollar counts.